Hi, Mikha. Hello, everyone. I'm Mikha, your company man Vtuber with the Head in the Clouds. Since we're always flying planes, we are not flying planes today. We are doing more Gunpla build. I think my setup is slightly less scuffed than it was before. The camera is still very, very improvised in its mounting. I literally have one camera sitting on top of another camera's mount. I should actually get a real mount for it at some point. But we improvise. And again, my main screen still that way, so you're going to see me pointing to the left a lot. Oh, and I have to change this camera around. Transform. There we go. Now it makes more sense. I had to remove the camera and add it back in to get it to work, so it was a little bit of a pain. Cameras don't like to work. Windows does not like having multiple cameras connected. So, music. All right, so we've got me slamming the table with my knee. We've got the Lana kit from before. We're going to put it together, see if we can't salvage some of the overpainting we did. I think we can just scrape it off, hopefully. How are you all doing tonight? Welcome in Bud Fonte. Don't forget the armband. Nice, and I've got my set of scalpels. Also, the little ankle things, I have to swap them around because they're on the wrong legs. I noticed that in the anime, it was opposite of how I had them mounted, or how I had them installed. Hi, Payne, how's it going? Or do I maybe have these on wrong? Well, now I've confused myself. It's a left foot, it's a right foot. These go to the outside. This should be a left leg. That there. Heart rate check. Of course, you picked the redeem that I don't have set up. I'm not wearing Fitbit because it is reflective, and reflective is dangerous. Oh, you want a my cute? Glasses on before we do this. My heart rate for the waifu. Oh yeah, totally. This might not go as I expected. Nothing on this model kit has gone as I expected. More light. I need more light. before I cut my thumb. Yeah, that's not scraping off as easy as I'd hoped. This might be a cut my losses and get on with it kind of thing. So we'll just put her back together and hope for the best. Should be on our left arm. Right arm. Heart rate track. Guys, the heart rate. I don't have the Fitbit on. I'll refund those later. Oh, welcome in, Tank. How's it going? Did the hose work? Actually, I think I forgot the button. Yeah, I forgot to. Save. There's that. There's the hose. I should buy myself some acrylic gold paint so we don't have to deal with this ever again. I don't know what we're gonna do to salvage some of this because this is pretty bad. And someone said toothbrush and paint remover. I tried cleaning this stuff off, like my brushes, with mineral spirits, and that did not really work. So I am not entirely sure there's a ton we could do to salvage this. Which is not the kind of message I really want to have to people. Because normally, with like gunpla kits, unless you're like really careless, normally it turns out pretty well, no matter what. But this is like one of the exceptions. And it probably won't look all that bad from a distance where it's like posted on top of my bookshelf with the other figures. But it might be fine. How's the hat? Hat, we've got one little tiny. I got the paint off. I just got to get the little paint chips out. Just simple green on a cotton swab. I get turpentine. Turpentine, it should be pretty much mineral spirits. And mineral spirits is what you'd use to thin enamel paint. And what thins the paint should also typically take it off just fine. Well, let's put the arms on before the head. I think it'll be just a smidge easier. And then I got to figure out how to pose her. How to pose your model is always one of the hardest things. Why is one leg longer than the other? I don't know. Oh, the hips are just slightly off. Lena, you got hair for days. How long does it take to dry? All right, there's our Lena. We'll leave her here, judging us, staring up at the camera. Separates acrylic really good. Mineral spirits, petroleum base. Made pine trees. Well, acrylic paints are petroleum base. You're painting that really good. Here's our RX-79 kit. I'm just getting the little thingies off. All right, here's something that I know, a Gundam kit. It should be much easier to do. Oh, and I can show before we get to the Gundam kit. I need more space. Got junk everywhere. Or sorry, enamel paint, I mean. Acrylic, I just normally use water, although I've never tried to remove acrylic paint from something. We've got our two slimes we tried when we were on like Plan D. Focus, you fuck, as the foul-mouthed Canadian says. It turned out okay. I wish we'd been able to make it a little more translucent. Although they are slightly translucent. I take this little flashlight. So light can shine through them, but not terribly well. I keep getting excited, like, oh, Thursday, I can use them, but no, my DM canceled our D&D game until he's done. Like, did I cut off mechanics for a thumb bandage? No, I don't have any injuries to my thumb. I had an extra pair of mechanics gloves that I'd lost a pair, like, or one of the pair during airsoft. So I just had to buy a new pair, and I still kept the lonesome glove, and I cut the fingers off for protecting my fingers in this kind of stuff. This is the armored box backpack. I'll be honest, I don't actually know what the heck an RX-79G Gundam is. This is actually the index finger. You can tell by the way it's sewn. I have an actual thumb, but I like the index finger. It's a bit smaller and fits my thumb better. They give us some nuts and bolts and other screws. What the heck? Oh yeah, and then the PC, the flexible pad we got here. I found it funny the other day that I ran into someone on Blue Sky who said, you know, the market for DCS like flight sim DCS VTubers is really empty. I'm sure they'd be really popular if they existed, and I had to pop in and go, "Hey, we are a thing. We exist. We're up and coming. There's some fairly popular DCS flight sim streamers right now. Airshow in particular is a big one. We've got an extra boost since Arawa is getting into flight sims as well. We also have Sharklet, who's doing a big bit to popularize flight sims. Trying to stay hydrated. A lot of talking. Where the heck am I going to put these things? Okay, slimes can go here. Move my scissors somewhere where I can remember where they will be. And I gotta move my high-tech capture box for my, whatchamacallit, thingy-majigger. So we need Heat D. There's a spider over there. You keep your distance, young man, and we'll be cool. You go up into that corner, and you'll be fine. Oh, he's trying to climb my blinds, and he's having a heck of a time at it. Toss that over. Okay, let's not put it on FM. It's LM and exclamation mark F. Yeah, you heard that right, Lockheed Martin. If you'd like to sponsor me, I am open to being sponsored by you. I fly almost exclusively your aircraft in flight sims. Did the F work? Did the F work? Should work. Oh yeah, it's there. My head might have been covering it. There are so many sheets for this gunpla kit. Skunkworks. Oh no, no Skunkworks command. Airshow's the one in Skunkworks. D1. We need a PC. So PC sheet, in my experience, is best left somewhere out where you can grab it. So we need D1. And we're probably going to need all these parts for the other arm. So let's cut the corresponding ones out. These are going to mount armor to them, so we don't really have to care too much about how well we clean up the sprues from them. Good boy, thank you for the head pats. There's D1, D4. We'll cut out 3 and put it with the other part. D9 and D10. Oh, these are usually exposed on the elbow. How's everyone's week been? It's gonna work. Oh, come on, meaty keys. Why you gonna work? Your week's been wet? Has it been raining? And then we need PC1. I like how I go to build this and it looks like every other gunpla kit I've basically ever built. Does it exist? Drift through the heavens. I don't know the lyrics to this other than the original English lyrics, and like half the song is in Japanese. Man, I want to rewatch Steins Gate now. There's so many series I want to rewatch that are so good. Man, for here, we've been having like unseasonably good weather. So it's been fairly warm, but also sunny. And before this week, I don't think I had seen the sun out in like months. Scalpels for Gunpla. So nice. I don't know if you can see this sticker down here, or if you can guess what this sticker is from. I forget what that sticker's from. Also, all these numbers up here from when I was trying to make good precision rifle cartridges from a whole bunch of junk cartridges, junk cases. It was a massive pain. I sorted them into all the same head stamp. And then I thought, well, if I trim them all down to this exact same length, this is really time consuming. You sort all your brass and then until you can get a sizable group of one manufacturer of the brass. And then I had to go and weigh every piece. And I wanted to sort it into bins. And I started with 1 grain bins. Or actually, this was half grain. I ended up going with half grain bins. So there's like 92, 91, and this would be 91.5. And the thought being that if they are if I've resized them all already, I've trimmed them already, and they're all from the same head stamp, then it should all be same case volume by the weight. Because if it weighs more, it's got to be thicker in some way. It did not work. It turned out as pretty crappy ammo, but now I've just got a whole thing of brand new Starline brass that I'm going to be using. I just need to be a bit more particular about my brass and keeping it sorted and numbers of firings and whatnot unless I want to start annealing. But annealing is going to be a pain. Because I have to anneal, I have to operate a propane torch indoors. But annealing can get you better consistency and longer numbers of more reloads per case. We'll do a hand loading stream at some point, I think. If I could keep this desk relatively clear of junk. Oh, this table might not be the best option since the tiniest amount of tilt on a desk can throw off my scale, as I've got a very precise scale. But the hard part is that if I did a hand loading stream, it would be like basically a just chatting stream, which is fine. And then it would be probably brass prep, which is going to take forever. So you just see me sitting here with like this hand crank lathe, and case goes in, slide the thing over, twirl it until it's cut down, slide it back, take the case off. Then I have to chamfer it and deburr it, throw it in a bucket, grab the next one, and it takes forever. And you have to do them all consistently. I think I might even... the real pain with brass prep is that you have to be super consistent with the brass prep. Because it's like everything. Once you get past the charge weight being consistent, which should not be a problem for me with my scale and my auto trickler. Once you get past the charge weight, the brass prep is like the next thing. And it's only once everything is really consistent can you start doing the experimentation stuff that you're supposed to be doing. And I twirl a pen around with one hand. Do I have a pen that'll work for that? Because it has to be a very specific balanced pen. I wonder if this one's going to work. Yeah. It doesn't take too long to learn this, and it doesn't really even take all that much fine motor skill, and it's all basically in the wrist. I actually learned this after watching the anime Hyoka, where the main character does that at one point. All right, so D1 takes this part. And this goes here. Can I twirl a hot dog? Nope. I don't think I have any hot dogs on hand even. There we go. An elbow. Oh, and it's coming apart. My elbow is breaking. Why is the elbow coming apart? Huh. Excuse me, Mr. Elbow, you're supposed to stay together? Go get hot dogs for next stream? Why do you want me to twirl hot dogs? Oh, I see. It's going to have me bolt this together since it doesn't want to stay in place. If it's not clear, man, these couples are wicked sharp. I highly recommend. So this orientation, and then you want me to put this screw in here.
Warning, 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 warning.
Warning, 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 warning. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter as long as the nut goes in the right spot. Silent Derp, thank you for the subscription. Do I have a screwdriver on hand that's small enough for this? This is the smallest one I've got around. Sadly, my screwdriver kit is at work, so I can't use my nice screwdriver kit. And that should be a thing that I stop leaving at work. It should be in my backpack. Why would Tank Bear Claw want you to do anything with hot dogs? Good question. Do I have to do make it? Ooh, I wonder how well. I wonder how well hot dogs would go in hot pot. Like you could, if I could cut them into the octopus shapes and then put them in the hot pot. Although I think that would probably be really bad. You're here to send 5 messages before you fall asleep. All right. Well, you have 3 more now. 2 more now. How's the day? The sun is set, so it is now night. We've got Lena here, who's judging us for our terrible work on her before. And also, if you guys notice down here on the overlay, these lights should be working now. I fixed this. I'm in studio mode, so you should actually see it when they light up. And if we get a raid, the RWR might light up. I have not checked that. I haven't had it. Quick, someone raid me so I can check this. Oh, thanks for the missile. Just let me know in chat if you see it light up, the lights light up. I find myself recently, I've been thinking about emotes. And I'm like, oh, this is a really good idea for an emote. This is a really good idea for an emote. And then I proceed to immediately forget them because I didn't write them down. At this point, I've had enough ideas of emotes to fill all of our standard emote slots. But I've forgotten most of them. And I have to figure out which ones to axe if I ever remember the ideas I had. Which we have a couple we can axe. Like we've got the A7 Pog one that we can axe. Because I didn't pay for that. I just stole it from an anime. And then we've got the flags, I guess we can axe. We have 2 hard emotes. We might just keep one. Came to me in a vision. Yep, that's how I'm gonna start sourcing everything, setting all my sources. Take notes even if there aren't dumb. Yeah, I have a text file on my phone of just random VTuber notes. And whenever an idea strikes me, I put it in there. I have one for work too, but I'm increasingly less and less feeling inclined to write down any ideas I have for work. And granted, my job, because I work in R&D, part of my job description is literally coming up with new concepts for new technology. So once a quarter, I have to come up with a new project. I have to do it myself. I don't have to like do a full project. I just have to do enough and like a quarter's worth. Or I have to spend 20% of my time at work on the project and then present it. I have one idea. I've got a decent feeling that it's just not going to work, but I'm not terribly afraid to present a project that failed. I know it doesn't really look great, but I think the notion of you can only present successes is a really bad idea, because otherwise if you do something and fail at it and you don't tell anyone, then someone else is going to do this, try the same thing that may not work, and then they're going to fail. Or if you did something and you failed and you document it and you document why you think it failed, maybe the next person comes along and they fix your problems. Foldable bike. Why would you make anything out of Bakelite? Bakelite is a terrible plastic these days. The standard is glass-filled nylon. 30 to 60% glass-filled nylon, and that'll be about the best strength you can get. All right, now that we're done with this part that we're not even supposed to be working on yet, we need G. Wherever the heck G is, I assume it is going to be a white sheet. Yes, here it is. We want G3. Speaking of plastics, yeah, the clear mag. I saw that. It'll be interesting. I'm very interested to see how they do with that, because PMags are made out of. Don't I have a PMag? I do have PMags around here. Of course, I've just got a PMag 30 sitting around. Let's see. How can I do this without making the mag look too terrible? Let me just push in the spring-loaded detent with a sharp object. I'm sure nothing would go wrong here. There's the floor plate. Here's the mag body. And as far as I know, it doesn't say anywhere. I should have checked this before I took it apart, but it doesn't say what plastic it is anywhere. I guess that's just more of an automotive thing that we do. I'll put that thumb thing on. And we can... Yeah, it's a glass-filled plastic. You can really tell if you take just a knife to a glass-filled plastic, you can feel the grit of it as you cut into it, and then it will leave a sliver that's a bit stiffer. So this is probably it's probably like a 60% glass filled, I'd guess. But if you like cut this polystyrene, it cuts very smoothly, cuts like butter. It also will tend to curl up on your blade. So that's just one way you can tell. But clear plastics tend to be well, clear plastics, you can't glass fill them usually. You can, but they're not going to be so clear anymore. So that's the problem. So they're not able to be quite as stiff. And then the other problem you have with a clear plastic is most clear plastics are like an acetyl base. Look at this. I've got a clear plastic. And so this won't cut very nice at all. They tend to be more brittle. So it'll be interesting to see how that translucent PMAG holds up, because it's going to be likely be a more stiff plastic. Make parts out of wood. Wood is a very good material, but it is hard to engineer. And by that I mean the real difficulty of wood is that the range of strength you can get in a piece of wood, like of a single type of wood, is quite big, and it's all dependent on just how that piece of wood is. So you can make some pretty phenomenal things out of wood, assuming that you are using the higher range of the tensile strength and bend strength and whatnot. But you don't have infinite lifespan like you would with steel. But if you're going to use anything else, you're going to not have infinite lifespan, and you're going to absolutely need someone who knows what they're doing, picking out the wood or doing QA on the wood, just so that they can reject the crappy pieces of wood. Otherwise, you'll get like a knotted piece, and suddenly you're at half of your strength, and that wood is no good. So typically, you don't do a ton of engineering with wood. You just do carpentry. You don't really have like an engineered part out of wood. Where was that? Okay, it's there. And then I need a 25, 20. Plastics are superior to steel. In this day and age, the only reason why I would pick steel over plastic, there's, I guess, two reasons why I would pick steel over plastic. One is the steel should last forever if it's a competently designed magazine. So you could buy one magazine and it lasts forever. That's a little important if you're like in the US now and you're worried about magazine bans and you want your magazines to last forever. And then the other reason is if you have a mag with steel feed lips, you can bend the feed lips to be exactly how you need them in case you've got a finicky firearm. And so with AICS mags, you kind of have to do that. I'm going to say 20. There it is. So most people, for AICS mags and rifles that take AICS mags, most people will recommend that you go with a metal mag, or you go with like the MDT polymetal mags, which have metal feed lips, because it's rare to get, at least it used to be rare to get a rifle that would run AICS mags out of the box. Steel feed lip, yeah, that is a downside. But if I'm like using an AR mag, I'd just go with the P mag. But for AICS mags, I would go with steel. Although, also, contrary to what I'm saying here, the plastic AICS mags I've got MDT plastic ones for 223, and then I've got PMAG ones. I've got actual Magpul PMAG 76265 ones, and the Magpul ones feed perfectly fine, no problems. The MDT ones, I had to bend the lips back to original because I got a new chassis to solve my feeding problems, basically. So that notion of you have to, or the notion of you want adjustable feed lips may be going away pretty soon, or it may be gone. What's on the thumb? It's a piece of a glove, so that way when I'm cutting, I don't cut up the surface of my finger a ton. But yeah, PMags are great because they're just so cheap. It's basically impossible to get any other mag as cheap as a PMag right now. Not like it's impossible to make one, but it's just PMags currently have the economy of scale, and they sell so many of them that they're just so great. You can get them for what, like $13 a pop, and I've got a whole bunch of PMags that I got, which were sold at a steep discount because they had some rather offensive stuff on them, and people in my group of friends were willing to go in on the batch, so we got them for like $5 a pop, and we just painted over them. We didn't really feel bad about buying them from the guy who got them marked in something rather offensive, because the guy was taking a massive loss selling them to us and had been holding on to them for like 3 years, unable to sell them at all. But a PMag's a PMag. It all feeds the same. Trust their new mag. I assume their new mag will work. It's just going to be interesting to see. I'll want to get my hands on one to see and just figure out what's going on with it. Not that they're going to tell us what plastic is used in it, but I would assume any plastic they're using is already something that's pretty widely available. They're not going to do anything really groundbreaking. I'm sure it's a standard resin bought from BASF or DuPont, almost certainly. As far as I know, up to this point, Magpul has not like gotten any custom resins or anything. Getting a custom resin is pretty expensive. You can get like, I think you can get like say pellets of nylon and then mix in your own glass filler, but that's not really anything high tech. And you can pretty much just ask DuPont and be like, hey, you've got 60% glass filled and you've got 40% glass filled, but can I get like a 50% glass filled? And as long as your volumes are good, they're going to be willing to mix it for you usually. I was starting to cut there, and I was cutting like this, and I was going, oh, well, if I hit my thumbnail, it's no problem. It'll just bounce off. And then I remembered, right, I've put one of these scalpels through my fingernail before, and it cuts through pretty easy. These things are sharp. Funny enough, it was I was deburring one of the plastic AICS mags I have, because it was fitting really tight, and I figured I could take some of the seam and the flash off of it, and it would fit a little better, and it did. But in the process, I put this scalpel through my thumb about half of the blade depth. That was a sucky day. It depends. They work with me. They worked with me extensively. BASF worked with me extensively on a project for a plastic gear that I was working on, and our quantities, were in the millions of units, but we're talking a gear that's smaller than this circle, so it's not all that much plastic, and a PMAG is going to ship a lot more units and use a lot more plastic than that. Hey, Midnight Fox, how's it going? But if you're Magpul and you're already purchasing huge volumes of plastic, I don't think there would be any plastic resin company that wouldn't want to work with you to secure future business on your next product. Missile and a hydrate. Thank you, Tank. All right, so you want me to put this in this direction, then you want this thing to go down here, and you want this part to hole on this side. How many of these have I built? I swear it's been like 8. Oh, is this poke yoked? It is poke yoked. Leave it to Japan to poke yoke things, as the people who invented poke yoking. Deafening, but I could never go away. Good, they're gonna cover that screw. This elbow joint has been... I'm glad they're doing something with these elbow joints, because these have been the bane of my existence for the last couple kits like this that I built. Because they were really only held together by this part that you put on, which could fall off, and then the entire thing just falls apart, which sucks. I'm believing in something more. There's still more that's still worth fighting for. Okay, next it's gonna have us make the hand for it. We're just gonna get in ahead. Oh, Tank, you wanna moe cute? Oh yeah. The setup is slightly less scuffed today because the mic arm is there as it was before, but instead of having the ring light mount here, the ring light mount is over here. It's clamped to this other table. So it should be a bit better because I don't have two arms crossing in front of the camera. I only have one that's crossing above the camera. And that's mostly going to be potentially blocking the top of my head if I look up, but I don't think the tracking uses any of that. I think more of the problem is getting hunched over more, and I have trouble calibrating this because I have to reach so far across my desk to hit the calibration button. I wish to numb my heart. No, still cannot sing. Ugh. Another funny thing that happened to me last week, after we built the Lena figure, I was like, man, Lena's such a pretty character. I want, I should get like posters of her or something. That'd be really cool. And I remembered, oh, I did get posters of Lena. I have 2 posters of Lena. I should just hang them up. But I didn't get around to hanging them up. Kind of worried. I've never hung, or I have hung posters before, but when I removed them, I ripped most of the posters, trying to get them off the wall carefully. But that was in college, and I used the double stick 3M man strip things, and Lena, why my hair is bluish white? No, not really. I mean, maybe subconsciously. I don't think I have a figure of the character that's part of the main reason why my hair is white. But there's a combination of factors. Like, I've always really liked white-haired characters. So, like, particularly Coco Hakmatiar and Yona from Jormungand. Origami Tobichi from Date Alive. I'm not really too into Emilia from ReZero. But I guess I couldn't pass as an Alba because specifically in 86, my raid overlay didn't work. But welcome in, raiders. I see this shout out worked. Thank you for the raid, Katra Kaolin. I hope I'm saying that right. I saw you were playing the wonderful video game Makers and Crafting. What were you making and crafting? We're crafting that RX-79 Gundam, as the title says. There. And we've got the last thing that we were working on right here. I was trying to fix up some of the paint at the start of the stream, but we overpainted because I couldn't get whatever the heck gold paint I have to thin out. But I wanted to just try to scratch it off a little bit, but that wasn't working either. So I think it's mostly down on this like gold hem that it bothers me. So I might just try a couple things to get the paint off completely, and then we'll get a gold acrylic paint that I know I can thin with water and repaint that. It looks good. I adore 86 so much. I've been reading it since it first came out in English. Let me skip to my 86 songs in this playlist. I've got another 86 Juggernaut to build at some point, and also a built one to probably panel line at some point, which will probably be after this. You only saw the anime? I'd like to be one of those snobs that says, oh, the book is way better, but I think, honestly, the anime did a great job. I could only have a couple small complaints with the anime, particularly the first season. They left out a little bit of information, but it's really understandable why they left out certain information and exposition, because they had so much exposition to do as it is. But I think the second season was way better than the books, because the first season was book one and just book one. The second season was books 2 and 3. Book 2, what basically happened is the author wrote the first book and did not expect to get any more books. So the ending like time skipped 5 years to the end of the war, and then things happened then. The things that happened at the end of the anime happened. Like the last episode or two happened then, but then the book got received so well that the publisher said, hey, Asato, you're writing another one of these. And Asato went, oh, I guess we're just retconning that. And it seems like she was still caught off guard for volume 2, because volume 2 kind of meandered around, and it had the whole long arc of, oh, well, we don't have to fight, we're working jobs. So it actually covered like the 6 months that they were not doing anything, basically. So books 2 and 3, I think could have just been one book if the author knew what they were doing, but I think it's not exactly the author's fault that they it's kind of a suffering from success thing. If she had been told, hey, there's a good chance you're going to get another volume, she probably would have planned it. But because of that, I think season 2 of the anime, which combines the plots of books 2 and 3, does a phenomenal job of repacing everything, and it shows off a lot better. At least, I don't know if it's, I'd have to reread to really say this well, but I don't know if it's just me or it was the anime, but I feel like the anime showed a lot of the emotion, or a lot of the problem that the 86 having basically nothing left in life outside of fighting. So I thought it did a great job of that. Why do I have separate thumbs here? Where's the other part of the hand that we should be having then? I hope that half coherent rant made sense. It probably did. There's a lady who looks like me. Oh yeah, Tank was just joking about that. We have similar hair, don't we? I even actually have the hat. The Lena hat. Thank you for the follow, Katira, and thank you for sharing your community with me. Have a good one. Yeah, I even have the Lena hat, although the design got changed a little bit between anime and illustration from the book. You know what? I'm gonna be tempted. I'm gonna give into temptation. I'm gonna go. Let me see if I can't find that illustration of that hat. I'll be right back. Okay, well, sadly, Lena doesn't seem to get many pictures with her hat on in the books, but we've got the cover of volume 1, and you can see she's got this more of this design that I have. And then most volumes of 86 have a big trifold. So most of them have a big trifold, although funny enough, it doesn't seem like Lena is in too many of them. And just also, like, this is the trifold you get in the first book. It was really neat because you got a lot of characters, so you can track who lives and who dies. Meant to be taken out as posters. I think they kind of are, although I would be too scared to try. It is just glued. It is like just glued in. I don't know if that's gonna focus or not. You could try. I would prefer to just buy a poster. But yeah, basically every volume has one of those, and they're double-sided. And yeah, after the first volume, Lena basically never has art with her hat on. Let me ramp the up. This volume has one of my favorite art pieces. Before you go dark, I think you actually have the same model kit you built last night. The Lena model kit. But volume 3 has this beautiful art that I want to get an ending screen of that's animated at some point. But every time I ask someone, it's way out of my budget. Because it is a big scene to draw. That's the one. It's a kit, man. The sprue, like the sprues are on the side of the skirt, and it's pretty visible here. I had to sand these down. Then on the side of the hat, the side, I didn't even bother sanding these ones down. So if you build this kit, I highly recommend you have some nice high grit sandpaper on hand and just clean it up. Looks good. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes, or a little bit more of a perfectionist when it comes to Gunpla. So like, oh wow, this one's got pretty bad ejection marks here. I don't think I've seen that before. The little circles, those are, I think, ejector marks. Normally you don't see ejectors on any of the actual parts. Because usually that's what these flat spots are. These are all the points that they're ejecting the whole thing from. You can't build these kits to begin with. You can. You absolutely can. You can take did I throw the lid for the oh it's over here. A master grade kit, or even a high grade kit. High grade, master grade, I don't really see too much of a huge difference in final product personally. But you can build either one. And all it takes is patience. Your tremor is bad. I have terrible fine motor coordination. So what you can do on most of these is you can kind of just go for it. So you can cut it, and if you cut a sprue, if you cut it off like really badly, like on this hand where I cut it badly because I don't care. I don't know if that's going to actually show or not. Because these are fine details that are hard to see on the camera. But if you do that and it looks really bad, then you can just hit it with sandpaper, or you can avoid getting them entirely, which is why I'm using the scalpels. So I cut and leave a little bit of the sprue. I did it on this, even though I really didn't have to. You leave a little bit of the sprue on the hand, and then you just scalpel it off, which on most parts doesn't require very good hand motor or very good fine motor function at all. So with this, you just position the scalpel, and then you pull, and you pull, and you pull. Some model kits, it does get really bad, which is why I generally don't really like the 1/144th scale Gundam kits. So this is This one I think is should be a 1/100. Yeah, it's a 1/100. It says it on the side of the box where I can't show it. But the 1/100 scale ones are fine, except some of them and some of the really small parts. But you can just phone it in on the small parts, and that's okay, generally. The worst one I've built is the Zaku kit, the Zaku 2, because it's got all those little rings. Little pool noodle arms, huh? Take an edible and really... I mean, again, on your first one, you can... the first kit that I did was a Gundam Easy 8, and what I actually did is I just used the nippers and I just cut like flat to it, and then just made sure that it was flat enough, and then put it together. And you might if you do it that way, you might have to take a knife to a couple things just to make sure that it's smooth enough to go together. But with these more modern kits, it'll look pretty good still. Oh, I forgot what I was doing here. We got B13. I don't need B1. So, like, these are ball ends. These aren't going to be visible, so I just cut it flush.
Caution.
Velveteen Doll, if I'm saying that right. Thank you for the follow. But Gunpla kits are very forgiving. They, somebody with a little skill... Uh-oh, I forgot part of it. To someone with little skill who is attentive, you can build them quite well. Luckily, this one is not too hard. The hardest part of building any of these kits is if you miss steps or forget things or put things in wrong. Generally everything's pretty poke yoked, so you can't put it together wrong. But you can occasionally get it there. And if you put something together and like in that case where I forgot that little inner part, this time it wasn't too bad because I just pulled this off. But if it was like a clamshell where two halves smack together, then it becomes a real problem. Yeah. And so like at a beginner level, you can do one of these kits and it'll look okay. You'll have sprue marks and whatnot, and they won't be on the modern kits, they won't be in bad places. They won't be in too terrible of places. But then if you get motivated, you can go back and you can fix it up. And that's what I did with the first kit I did. And I'll get it as an example. All right, so this is the first kit I built, and it was not the best choice as a first kit, and it did not look this good when I built it. But you can do a lot of things to make them look better. So this one, you can still see, like on this leg, there's a big mark from where I really messed up cutting it out. But that's in a pretty well hidden spot. It's on a seam, so you don't see it too bad. He's also covered in dust. Ew. Look at that dust. Ew. Oh my god. But generally these kits hide it pretty well. So like back of the leg here is one. Hey, look, this arm looks familiar, huh? Basically identical. Um, yeah, there's a ton of ways to fix and cover things up. There's also Gundam markers, which I've not used because I just haven't. But they're just little paint pens that match the color of your plastic. Maybe not this plastic so much because this plastic is old and yellowed so much. Oh my god. But there's a lot you could do to fix it. And then also you can like go back and you could do things to make them look better. So like on this one I panel lined it, and it panel lining it just takes it up a notch in appearance. This was like the first one I even panel lined, so this one's a little scuffed when it comes to panel lining. So like on these knees, they don't look great. Had to Google green stuff? Huh? Green stuff. But panel lining is also like one of those things that seems really hard, but it's very easy. You're just you thin out an enamel paint, and I don't think it works with acrylics because I've tried thinning out acrylics and I can't get them to do this. But if you thin out an enamel paint enough, you could just dab the tip of your brush in the enamel paint, and then you just on like this box here is actually a molded in crease. Then you just dab in like the corners, and the surface tension will bring it all around. And then if there's anything that's excess that isn't in the crease, you can just take a Q-tip in enamel thinner and you can just dab it lightly. Modeling putty. So panel lining, you can make things look really great, and then the panel lining will take your eye off of some defects. And okay, let me not let that stand up. Let me set it on its back. But again, the more modern kits, like this kit isn't actually terribly modern. I don't think. I think it's pretty much using the same designs as that one. But if you get more modern kits, they're really good about the placement of everything, so that they'll look phenomenal, even if you horribly cut them out. So I would highly recommend you try it. And I think you saw I bought this thing for $35. So these kits can be pretty cheap. Maybe start with a high grade, because the high grades I think are supposed to be cheaper. And they're supposed to be a little easier to put together, but I haven't really seen that. They just kind of go together the same, in my opinion, at least as far as I'm concerned, in difficulty. Okay, so I got distracted. What the heck am I doing? I need MP. Where the heck is my MP sheet? That's B. That's D. Oh. This is it. Sitting right in front of us. How hard they are. You never remember classes. So it's just the MG here, the gold, is supposed to be more difficult and higher quality because it's a master grade. But then there's, I don't know, it was a high grade, I think is the other one. It's a silver mark, and those are easier. I don't think I have a high grade mark thing anywhere. And again, I would probably advise against trying the 144th or 1/144th scale ones at first. just because they're smaller parts, and I have trouble with those because I've got fine motor control problems, and I can't work on some of those small parts. Hey, this song isn't in my playlist. Well, yeah. Yeah, small parts kill me. Like these fingers are probably some of the smallest parts in this kit. But I do have some tricks on my sleeve, and that is a pair of small medical forceps with smooth jaws. And I don't think I'm going to clamp it. I'm just going to squeeze it in this hand. Although I wouldn't have this trouble if I just cut these flush. I wouldn't be caring about this. Oh, now a kit I really wouldn't recommend to a beginner. This one. I would not recommend this one to a beginner. This one was painful. It was not an easy kit to make look okay-ish, and I still don't think it looks okay. Because for the most part, it's easy to go back if you screw something up on a Gundam kit, because most of the parts are mechanical and flat or simple radius of curvature. So like these parts are a good example. These are mostly flat, or on this surface is very slightly curved. These two are flat, so these two are slightly curved. So that means that if you mess up on these, it's very easy to just sand it. And if you sand down an entire surface, that's fine. That's no problem. Whereas with this, it's like you've got some contours you want to try to keep in there if you sand them. Like I had to sand this arm. I gave up and I didn't feel like it on this one. I might someday go back and do these. Get a model from something you're like, yes, very much. Get something that you're excited to build. Really scraping these models of girls. Yeah. You missed me having to cut out Lana's panties. I still look at this model and I'm tempted to paint her panties. Just to say that I did. I know it's like super degenerate, but I kind of want to. Don't look at me that way. She came with panties that we had to cut out, and they're solid black, and they've got like frills. Paint lipstick kissy mark on her butt cheek. Oh god, no, Tank, get out of here. Hey man, I had to cut out and assemble her panties, so why can't I paint them? Painting them shouldn't be any weirder than that. I really hope my neighbors don't hear any of that. Mike Tyson face tattoo. All right, speaking of tattoos, if you had to give Mikha tattoos, what and where would you put them? Did I get all the parts out of the B sheet I needed? This is B. Abandon all hope on the lower back with butterflies. Hello, police. Oh no. Tank, don't call the police. This is B. B4 and B1. Yeah, here. We're missing 2 parts. Box 3 on the neck. I asked because I showed Tank a thing, and Tank on that thing I kind of want tats on the arms. And at this point, I can put whatever I want on the arms because you can't see what's on my arms. I don't show any skin here. Mikha sled arc. Showing off all the arms and legs and knees and elbows. Heart tattoo. This is Bob. Do I look like him in the Navy? Here's one of the hardest things for me. Just getting the parts together is always trouble. Air supremacy and a picture of a missile. There's the trigger finger. That's like super separated from everything. I think I gotta put a thumb in here first. But there are all sorts of tricks with Gunpla of like, hey, I screwed X thing up. How do I fix it? And there's tons of tricks on how to fix it. Like one of them is I messed up a ball joint. How do I fix it? And the solution is actually really simple. If your ball joint isn't sitting right, you just take a little bit of nail polish, or you pull the ball joint apart, you put a little bit of nail polish on it, you stick it together, and then you spin it all around. Or a temp fix that apparently I learned one of our factories at work is using to solve ball joint holding torque issues, which they're really not supposed to be doing. You just stick some chapstick on it. It's not a permanent fix, doesn't last very long, but it might last just long enough to pose a model. And while our plant is technically not supposed to be doing it, it's really only failing internal specs, I think. So it's hard to really argue that what they're doing is super fucking horrible. Because no one's gonna die. Pinup girl riding a bomb would be pretty appropriate. Can I get a tat? Oh, I should get a pinup tattoo of Elena. But then people are gonna think that I've got a tattoo of my sister. Oh, I still need to get pinup Mikha art at some point, so I can make like a Itasha Mikha F-16 skin, or just Itasha airplane skins in general. E 27. 28 is going to be later. '18. Cut this flush. Bum, 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 bum. You want me to put a screw in where? Oh, my howlude. Everywhere. Day you. Two worlds that intertwine inside your sparkling mind. All right. Complaining time here. I went to the store today. I guess Tuesdays are now my store day, since Sundays are for Fuwan Mocha in the morning, and then I still want to try to do Flight Sim Sunday on Sundays, although we'll see if I can keep the energy up for those, because last time my energy was just not there. But so now I go to the store on Tuesday nights, and I needed to get more coffee because I'm running low on coffee. And I get to the coffee aisle and I see that there's basically no options for whole bean coffee. It's all pre-ground, which really sucks because my grocery store used to have they used to have machines where you could dispense coffee, and then you'd pay for the coffee by the pound, basically, as beans, and you could also get it ground. But I just do the store brand of beans and get it and grind it myself, and it was pretty good quality coffee, especially for its price. But now they just bag it and they have it pre-ground. For a while they did, after they got rid of the dispensers, they had it bagged, but they had bean and ground options, but they don't have the ground or the bean options anymore. And generally I prefer to just buy my coffee as beans because they'll stay fresh a bit longer. And I have a grinder. I have a good grinder. I just dump the beans in the top and I hit a switch and it grinds it exactly the same without me doing anything. And so I can just grind up the coffee for like 2 or 3 days in 5 minutes without doing any effort on my part. Need a 27. It feels like if I want whole bean coffee, I'm gonna have to start using this coffee service that I gave one trial because why not? But it was like, what was it? I paid $30 for 3 bags of coffee, and they're like half size bags, and that was including a free bag. So that's a horrible price. And I was thinking that, oh, it might be a good value if they're giving me brands that I could buy the bags for. instead of like coffee subscription service. But as far as I can tell, I can't even just like directly buy the coffee, because I would be down to pay a little bit more for coffee subscription service, and they just they send you a couple bags, but then once you find what you like, you can just buy what you like directly. Oh, this part got twisted. Or it shot weird. Huh. No, it just got twisted. Where is my sheet B? There's H. E. I need one of those dish trays for holding your gunpla. I need Yura to tell me how to do gunpla. B7. Yeah, these plates. I should have bought a Gundam aerial kit, because I have a feeling that these general Gundam kits aren't going to do it for me anymore, because I'm literally remembering all these parts and how it goes together, because I've built 3 or 4 of these at this point. Oh. I missed a step earlier on. PCU. PCU, and then PCX. Glad I caught this. But it's still going to be a little bit of a pain for rework. Oh no, wait, this should just come straight out, right? It doesn't want to come out easy. So this needs to go in here. And then this needs to slide in. It shouldn't matter which way it goes in, I don't think. Clear the skies of all these stormy clouds.
Flare.
Another raid. Spaceman, thank you for the raid. Somebody just sent me a text. Delete all these notifications. How is DCS, Spaceman? Oh no, this song I want to sing, but my singing voice has been terrible recently. I don't know. I don't know if it's just lingering from me being sick or what. Boom, 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 boom. Secret project is coming along. Well, I was going to say appropriate, but then I realized this is not secret based. This is Blue Bookmark. So this is not an appropriate song for your secret project. Put in this flower as a bookmark. Grab the bike that we found thrown away and roll along with you. It's funny how build these castles. It's like my throat is super dry or something. Humidity reader, what's the... Okay, humidity reader. I'm gonna go goof off and grab it. my cheap humidity flash thermometer died again. So we're going to use a good quality one. Now I notice it says that's humidity. It doesn't say that that is relative humidity. And this one doesn't, this Kestrel doesn't agree with my other one. But with how dry it is, it was like saying that, oh, it's so dry that my lips are cracking, and it goes, oh, it's 45% humidity. I don't know if that's relative or not. I feel like it's reporting something wrong. Wet bulb? What does that mean? But this is my Kestrel. I use this. Oh, good thing I didn't write my name is on it. Uh-oh. Only relative. The other measurement is dew point. Yeah, so that's weird because that thing's reporting significantly higher humidity than it really seems like it's in here. You could have a potentially not relative humidity. But I'm no metrologist. But that's my Kestrel with applied ballistics. So it will Bluetooth to my cell phone and can provide information directly to the applied ballistics app that I have. And that will give me more accurate firing solutions because it'll automatically update weather from that, although it won't update wind because you have to take a wind reading. I also use it when I go out and do hand loading stuff because I can record the environmental conditions. I can also use it when I zero my rifle in the Applied Ballistics app. So I can zero my rifle and then I can say, okay, these are the conditions the rifle was zeroed in. And then I can go out on another day. I can zero the rifle at 100 yards or 100 meters. Actually, it really doesn't matter because I just put in what I zeroed it at. But then another day I can go out and shoot in completely different conditions and it works okay. There is some limit in what it can do because it doesn't know how temperature sensitive my powder is, which is something I could figure out, but I really do not want to waste the ammo figuring it out. Although I could maybe calculate it eventually. Just enough shots. I find it funny that is it Zach Hazard in one of his in one of the videos Mike Burnfire has of him, Zach goes, "Snipers are boring. All they talk about is math." And I'm like, I don't claim to be a sniper. I claim to be a marksman because sniper, marksman, vastly different things. But also, I take offense at this because the math is like the most important part. There's a lot of physics you need to keep in mind and know of, especially if you're going to be hand loading your own ammo. That makes the amount of things you have to consider even more. Because somebody who's using factory ammo really only has to consider external ballistics, whereas I have to consider internal ballistics and know a little bit about how the heck my hand loads work and why they may not be working or why they're working. Or the military snipers have it kind of nice because they just get given ammo and are told to work with it. But that also is a downside in some ways because you can't like perfectly tailor your ammo to your gun, so you're potentially limited in accuracy unless the military has some really high tech stuff for precision that we don't know about, which is quite possible. It's like that last world record sniper kill. Supposedly they only took one shot. How much I believe that, I don't know, because usually the world record sniper shots are potentially dozens of shots that were fired and nobody noticed because you're shooting so far away they don't ever hear or see the muzzle blast. But just the air from a half minute of angle capability was pretty big, and then the error from a plus or minus 1 foot per second windage error was massive. And like 1 meter of ranging error, also massive for your elevation. So either they fired a bunch of shots, which is not uncommon for those long range kills, or they probably have some really good things that we don't know about for precision. Hey, Sharklet, how's it going? Sharklet, I have to ask, since everyone else says that they are, do we look similar? Me and this figure? Oh, you want a moe moe kyun? Ow, thanks for the missile. EP after the doctor. The doctor makes you EP. Oh, the EPU is just there with no dial, huh? I can fix that by hiding. Oh, and then it's gonna be, what the heck is going on here? Yeah, wider. I go find. Getting Media Monkey to display like this has been a massive pain, as it keeps resizing. And also, it leaves a lot of empty space with the way that it's displaying this. Saw an interesting news thing today that Twitch said they're gonna be. Let me not show you my phone. Twitch said it was gonna be adjusting how many chats you can show up in, particularly for particularly for bots mainly. And I guess I can't see it here, but I have like a thing that I can click, and there's a whole bunch of bots that will show up in basically anyone's chat. Like typically you'll see things like Twitch bot 300, yet another Twitch bot, and that's just bots that are for random other programs and whatnot. I think they're kind of like Nightbot and such. But Twitch said that they'll extend those limitations, so like they'll get one more chat to lurk in if you authorize them. Which generally it seems like the bots that I use aren't a problem, because they only seem to show up when I actually am using their systems. So it may not be as much of an issue as people think it is. Versus like the other random bots that just sit in everyone's chat. I had to take a peek at the viewer count after looking through the chat list, because I looked at the chat list and was like, oh wow, this chat list is a lot longer than I expected. Huh. But be aware that I do not normally check the chat list, and I did not read the names in the chat list really. I just glanced through it. So if you don't want anyone to know you're in my stream, if you never say anything, no one will know. Everybody hide. Everybody run. Mika's looking in chat. Ow. Thanks, Tank. Yeah, that should be right. This one on. Now, I've never seen Cabanari of the Iron Fortress that this song is from, but it's got some good music. So, you know, Sawano does his work, works his magic. The hand joints on these, I always feel a little unsettled by them because they don't really pop in. Which I guess makes sense, because because the way this part is molded, you can't really put much of a negative draft on it because it won't come out. You can, particularly on flexible parts, you can put a little bit of negative draft. Oh, no, I forgot this. At work, we say that you have to be a little sneaky to get a negative draft in. because it's got to be very subtle. It's like trying to get a brownie out of a pan. The pan has to have a little bit of a wedge shape to it. Like this and this, so that the brownie will come out. But if you put like a negative draft on it, your brownie won't come out of the pan. It'll be stuck in. But if you have like a really flexible brownie, you can get it to squish and come out, and then it'll rebound. Maybe if you got a really good cake. I don't know what baking things you could do to actually make that work. Welcome in, Dirty Kohai. How are you doing? Dirty Kohai, no etchy. Oh, look at this cool art they've got of this mobile suit. That's pretty neat. Can you get a middle finger? There you go, Jackson. This is having us do the other leg. Your body hated you. That sucks. You've been blessed. If you want, I can get you a picture of an anime girl flipping you off, which actually is from an anime. It was pretty hilarious and unexpected when it happened. They got us doing a leg. So we need PCR and PCA. So 2 PCAs. You got your fix from girls. It's the boys that you're missing. I see, I see. Unexpected blood pressure spikes. Ah, yikes. Oh, we knocked Lena over. She needs to be sitting here, staring at chat, judging you. She knows what you did. H. Then we got a PCJ coming up. So many parts. So little time. Then I need sheet D. Sheet D's nuts. We finally managed to watch Oppenheimer. 20 and 19. Huh? What? Change of vibe, banger anime? Do you mean this one? Set to Kai Yaku and Domo? 25, 26. Oh, let's cut out the other leg part. It's a scene. I don't remember too much of it. I'll have to rewatch it at some point. Can you hear this? My nipper. What part is squeaking? Where's my gun oil? Oh, wait, I know where it is. I have a toolbox for it. And it's arm's reach. Squeaky Nips ASMR, yeah. Just some hops number 9. It's gone. No more squeaky nips. Although there's slight oil on the nippers now. I started following my dad's advice, and I'm just getting toolboxes for like everything. So I've got like an entire toolbox for just flintlock related stuff, and an entire toolbox for firearm cleaning stuff. 25 and 26. Oh, it's B. You know, with how popular the gunpla building streams seem to be, I might have to do more, but at this rate, we're gonna burn through my my backlog of gunpla. We can stretch these out by doing some panel lining streams, because I've got a Gundam Barbatos that needs panel lining, and then a Zaku 2 that needs panel lining, and this one's gonna need panel lining. Gotta stretch our content out. I'm gonna start tax writing these off. Oh, we even got some oil coming through the main joint, which is fine. It'll just keep everything lubed up. Do not use WD-40. It is not a good lube. Oh, I need a D12. Here you go, D12. We rolled a 1. Depends on for what. Objectively, it is not a good lubricant. If you need it in a pinch to get something moving right now, it works okay, but the problem is it evaporates. Or like it just doesn't stay around, and it doesn't lubricate after like a day. It's more of a like preserving oil, something that you would wipe on a surface to keep oiled and prevent it from rusting, which is what it was literally made for. And I don't really know why WD-40 particularly took off with that. Like, it's not so wondrously good. It's not really like wondrously good at what it does in general. I find generally just having a gun oil on hand is great. Just like an oil that'll stick around and that will mostly stay put. So like decently heavy, but not too heavy. Like most gun oils are about that. I find that's a lot more useful because you got a squeaky door hinge, put it on that. And it'll solve the problem. You got a squeaky tool, put some gun oil on it. No problem. Heck, you can use some motor oil. You can use motor oil on your guns too. Just maybe not some of the really heavy motor oil. I actually used to use multi-use. Eh. I don't find it all that multi-use because it just kind of sucks at everything. Bicycle oil change, different from normal. I'm talking particularly about the original formulation, the one that's supposed to be good for everything. I haven't really used any of their other stuff because normally I just use like more generic oil that is cheaper and works just as well. But at this point, I have like 10 different types of lube around because I've got case lube even, which is supposed to be a lubricant that will lubricate brass cases when you're resizing them, and then it will, within a relatively short period of time, evaporate without really leaving much residue. And if you don't use case lube when you try to resize cases, they just get stuck and it sucks. And I actually used to use motor oil for it and it worked, but that was when I was resizing cases before tumbling, so I could tumble all the oil off. But now I've been told that it is best to deprime the cases without resizing them, then tumble them, then resize them, because that way you've done the least amount to your case after resizing it. Like I keep saying, case prep is a freaking pain. Jiggles, you went to their website and they say, yeah, don't use the original form. Yeah, it evaporates, and that's kind of the core problem. But like I said, if you've got like a seized piece of machinery that you really need to move right now and you have nothing else, it'll do the job. But you just be better off using anything else. see, H goes in here. Hello, Draenith. I hope I am pronouncing that right. If there's anybody in chat whose name I'm pronouncing wrong and like consistently wrong, and I just keep doing it, just keep correcting me. I will learn it eventually. I have trouble with pronunciation too, and I have trouble with remembering names. Around the house, it's a combo WD-40 and that 3-in-1 oil. 3-in-1 lasts quite a bit longer. Yeah. Where's Chief G? Here. You're going to bed, Axon? All right, good night. I always hate these shin parts because the number tags on them here prevents you from cutting this a little further away where I'd like to. I could do it, but I'm too lazy to like cut it 8 times to get there. And I immediately forget which one is which. So this one is going to go here. Curious about something because you see you're using tracker device that is that handling your face tracking as well. So I am using, when I play flight sims, I use TrackIR, which has its own camera. I use the actual brand of TrackIR, and that looks at a clip on my headset. And then for VTubing, I use VTube Studio. I use the RTX tracking because I have an RTX GPU, and that uses a separate camera. So I'm using, when I'm doing stream flight sims, I'm using basically 2 separate cameras, although one of them is just not treated like a camera at all on Windows drivers, which is actually, I find very nice that it's not treated as a camera, because multiple cameras on Windows is a bit of a pain. Windows 10 does not like multiple cameras. They have to be on a completely separate USB bus, as I have learned. Otherwise, they don't work. So I've got 2 cameras. I've got actually just let me not knock it over. I've just got this cheapo Logitech camera that I use for VTube Studio, and it does good enough. And I've got this more expensive Logitech camera that I was gonna replace that one with, but this one doesn't have really like any advantage over that one, so I use this one for hand cams. And they have to be on a completely different serial bus to work, which is, oh boy, it took me so long to figure that out the first time. A lot of this would be simpler if I used iPhone tracking. And if you don't have an RTX GPU, you can just plug in your phone and use like even an Android phone for tracking, and it'll be as good as a webcam. And that will save you some potential headaches, especially if you're playing DCS, because VTube Studio eats a fair bit of GPU when it's running the tracking. So if you use your phone to track, it saves you some GPU. Because my 3080 is not good enough to run DCS, apparently. I have to look into using some more, trying to find a program that will output at least the F-16's MFDs in DCS. last time I checked, there was programs that would output the MFDs, but they were only for like the F18 and the A10. Because if I can get another program to do that, it should save me a good bit of GPU. Because by default, DCS only, the only way to output MFDs to another monitor is to basically just to have a larger game window displayed, which then eats a lot of GPU because it's doing some stupid stuff with rendering black pixels every frame instead of just not updating pixels that aren't on a monitor. So it really eats up the GPU when you do that, when it really shouldn't. Trying to figure out if track IR could be used as a tool for facial tracking stuff. Track IR cannot. Track IR, the actual track IR, cannot be used in any way, shape, or form that I know of to track faces. It's literally a point tracking solution. It will track your clip, or it will track your or it'll track your clip. There's two types of clips. There's the one that I have, which is the 3 LED tracker, or it will track your hat reflective tracker, and that's all it does. It does not like do anything else other than that. There are other track IR similar systems. I haven't used them in a long time, but there's like face track no IR, and then there's like open track. And face track no IR will do face and eye tracking. I used that for a while when I first got into flight sims, and it works okay. It's a little finicky if your face is not symmetric, which can cause you some headaches, but you just have to fine tune it basically from one side to another, which it did have stuff for when I last used it. And then point tracker is just open source, cheaper. Not sure if it's open source. It's just a cheaper track IR option that works with whatever 3-dot tracker you can build. So it's flexible, and you can put in the dimensions of your tracker and the dimensions of your 3-dot headset, and it'll work. I actually made one of those. I have to figure out where I put that. Saves you a lot of Googling. Yeah, I've spent a decent amount of time playing around with those systems before. And eventually I just said, screw it. And I bought Track IR, and I do not regret it. Because it works. I bought Track IR. I bought the headset clip. I downloaded a profile from someone, made a very slight adjustment to it after a couple hours of using it, and I have not touched it since. It works, and I have no complaints about it. Okay, I have one complaint about it. Their headset clip is cheap as heck and is stupid cheap for how much it costs. Assemble this. Yeah, I don't mind answering flight sim related questions basically anytime. Because the number one goal of my streams is still to try to get more people involved in flight sims. Man, now I kind of want to fly flight. Now I want to play flight sims. That goes in there, and then this goes on here. Man, this anime was so good. This anime. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by. How was this done on this other model? Oh yeah, it was one piece still. So that's they're still identical construction. That thigh and this thigh. Oh, I'm messing up the pose on this model. I'm gonna have to repose it when I put it back. Posing is like one of the hardest things, especially with that kit, the Gundam Easy 8. It does not want to pose nice. Actually, does it? I wonder if this one has. This one has rub-ons. Nice. I like the rub-on stickers. So it's this sheet, and this top sheet is just a clear plastic. The back is just like a parchment paper, and you'll cut it out. You'll cut out what decal you want, and then tape it over, and then scratch it really hard, and it'll transfer. I like those because they're easier to do than water slides, and they turn out better than stickers. But they are a potential to mess them up. But you know, you've got a potential to mess up water slides. Water slides are pretty difficult and daunting the first time you do them. I haven't done water slides in a long time. $15 is here, 16 is for the other one. D32. If you haven't seen this anime, gamers, 10 out of 10 would watch it. If you're feeling bad about how messed up everything is in your life and like how your social life is just garbage dump, watch this show and you'll feel better about it. Oh, there's got another part that's twisted here on the sprue. B. I need B28. 29. God, I love this anime. It was so good. I want to force a bunch of people to watch this with me now. Especially great if I can get people who have never seen it to watch it with me. It is a beautiful, beautiful anime. The entire thing is an allegory for playing video games. And like the lyrics of this song are like, it's so frustrating, I want to quit, but I can't. So just hit the reset button. And the show is so frustrating that you just want to quit, but you can't. So you hit the reset button and you watch the next episode. And it's just hilarious. because you're like watching a dumpster fire of people miscommunicating and doing the wrong thing, and then they still, you just can't stop. It's like watching a train wreck. Just whittle away. Took too much of a bite out of that part. Do we have like comfort grip scalpel handles? I could use one. Yeah. So many parts, so little time. One day we'll get around to that polypedal ball, and that will be hilarious. I still maintain that the ball type should be the superior mobile suit in space, because arms and legs are worthless in space, so the ball dispenses with those bulky items. And so if you install the same thrusters for the Gundam on the ball type should just be superior to the Gundam, right? Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Where we spent a minute talking about balls. It's on here. Then this drops in here. Oh, this needs to turn 90 degrees. The show where, what was that, season 2's ending was so complicated, I had to read a Reddit post to figure out what the hell happened in it. Good times, good times. That was such a weird arc. I applaud it for being subtle, but it was a bit too subtle. I actually started reading this series. I have to figure out where I put those books. Because I think I had the digital ones somewhere, the fanlations. It's getting pretty late. And I'm tired, so we might be calling it a short stream here. Let me put away these knives before I stab myself. In Minecraft, Twitch admins. Well, I mean, it'd be in real life, but it would be unintentional. These sheets need to go over. There you go. Part of the Gundam is done. Does it become a Gundam? Want to finish it? We steal my camera back and my I should probably get a better mic arm if we're gonna keep doing this, but let's go see who we can raid. Who is online? Is there anybody doing something in Makers and Crafting? Let me get the chat over here so I can actually pay attention to it. Simple build went well. We did some arms and legs. It went pretty well. It's almost boring because we're building a RX-79 Gundam, and I've built like 4 kits that are similar. Vtuber. Anyone who jumps out at me here. Alright, let's raid this other person doing a Gundam build. We'll make a new friend potentially. Give them a nice raid 1 or raid 2. And oh, Silent Derp, you want a my cute? And I will see you all Sunday for Fuon Mocha in the morning. We've got Kita as our guest. We'll see how it goes. Should be fun. And bye-bye.